Things were not improving, they were actually getting worse. What made it even more difficult was that nobody knew why she was getting sick in the first place. Her daughter was really worried, but since it was a mystery, no one could provide any help. They began doing some work while she took a break on the couch. Standing for a long time was tough for her. However, there was suddenly a lot of noise, and they rushed back into the room to share what they had discovered. Kathy Wilson always tried to do the best for her daughter. The 41-year-old who lived in Shelbyville her entire life always felt confident that she wasn't unfit, but things changed rapidly. Kathy's mysterious illness began suddenly more than a decade ago and never improved. It only worsened. She thought it might be stress, but her daughter was concerned and wanted her to seek help. Kathy's family, especially her daughter, grew frustrated as her symptoms progressed from just a cough to muscle pain and constant fatigue. Her daughter was deeply worried, but Kathy resisted the one thing her daughter wanted: seeing a doctor. Before consulting a physician, Kathy attempted over-the-counter tablets and various vitamins like B, C, zinc, iron, and E. However, even after months of trying these remedies, her condition showed no signs of improvement. Ashley hated hearing her mother moan about her illness, but never seek a doctor. She also hated seeing her suffer. She finally agreed to go to a doctor and got a note excusing her from work. But after heading home from the doctor, Kathy felt exactly the same. She enjoyed the sick leave to rest, but otherwise, she wasn't feeling better. But then things got even worse as the weeks crept by. It had never gotten so bad so rapidly. Then Ashley decided to take matters into her own hands once again. Kathy's appetite soon diminished along with her energy. She even started losing a lot of weight. Her daughter was more worried than ever, so she wanted her mom to go back to the doctor. Kathy wholeheartedly agreed this time. She accepted that she wouldn't get any better on her own. And this time, even the doctor seemed a lot more concerned than before. They arrived at the doctor's office, and the doctor couldn't believe what kind of state Kathy was in. What was originally thought to just be a cold was something much worse. Kathy was otherwise a strong and healthy woman in her prime. She should have recovered from the illness if it was just the flu. Now he was very concerned. Things weren't good. The doctor in question was Dr. Maybeth Hensley. She felt that Kathy's condition had gotten a lot worse. She decided to take extra precautions and run blood and allergy tests, but the tests gave her the strangest result. They said she was healthy. She had symptoms, but no diagnosis, so the doctor decided to try and eliminate things one by one. She was put on an antibiotic course. She was motivated to find out what was going on. After getting her course, the doctor waited to see how her body would react to it. It was their only way of finding out what was wrong with Kathy. They needed to make sure she wouldn't get worse. Dr. Hensley would try her best to figure out what was wrong with her patient and what the root problem was, but things would only get worse. Kathy's condition, like always, started getting worse. She now had full body aches and the fatigue would overwhelm her. Then her mental health started getting worse. Everyone around her was worried for her sake. Maybe it was just a state of mind. Kathy was in disbelief. Her body knew something was wrong, but no one could tell her why. It was hard for Ashley, who had now taken her mother to the doctor twice with no conclusive results. She just didn't want there to be a third time where she was even worse. What was wrong with her mother? Ashley saw her mother's health decline firsthand and felt that something was wrong. Kathy, determined to find answers, turned to online research, consulted experts in online chats, and tried herbal and natural remedies, but nothing worked. As time passed, people lost faith in her, and she felt increasingly alone, wondering if it was all in her head. Over the next decade, Kathy visited her doctor regularly, and Dr. Hensley conducted thorough tests, including cardiac tests, chest x-rays, and MRI scans of the brain and spine, but nothing unusual was found. Despite the efforts, Kathy grew frustrated and weary. Years of the mystery illness had affected Kathy's mental health. It impacted on her relationships, work, and most importantly, her quality of life. After 10 years of her flu-like symptoms, she decided that if no one could help her, she would help herself. So, she decided to treat herself to a bathroom makeover. She had plans to create a sanctuary by remodeling the entire bathroom. She arranged contractors to take care of the job, but shortly after, they made a shocking discovery. The contractor's forehead crumpled with concern when he asked Kathy when her water heater had been installed. Kathy knew that it had been installed years before she had gotten sick, and Ashley must have been a little girl at the time. She thought hard and replied, "Maybe 10 years ago." The contractors were horrified. They had discovered that the furnace and water heater, fitted incorrectly, were causing trace amounts of carbon monoxide to escape and leak into the house over an extended period of time. But isn't carbon monoxide poisonous? Carbon monoxide is colorless and odorless, invisible to the eye. This makes the gas a silent killer. When the body is exposed to it, the gas displaces oxygen in the blood. This exposure causes serious damage to the heart, brain, and vital organs. Everything was finally falling into place. Would this explain Kathy's strange symptoms? Even a small exposure to CO can cause chest pains, fatigue, nausea, headaches, and vertigo. But prolonged exposure can have serious effects, including vomiting, muscle weakness, fainting, and confusion. Some cases of CO poisoning even result in death. But how had she been misdiagnosed again and again? After years of searching for answers from specialists and healthcare professionals, Kathy had lost hope. But now, Kathy's decade-long symptoms suddenly all made sense. The most unexpected visitors had finally given her an answer. "I was shocked," she exclaimed. Kathy had been suffering for so long from an unexplained illness, and it had left her in the physical condition of an old woman. But how could she ever thank them enough? Over the years, it kept getting worse and worse, Ashley explained. When she heard that finally there was proof of her mother's ailment, she was overjoyed. Now, Kathy would be able to function like a normal human being again. She couldn't wait for her mother to start being healthy and active again. Ashley shed tears of joy as her mother regained her life. After years of her mother being bedridden, they could now enjoy activities they missed, like shopping and dining out. But forgiving the doctors for years of neglect was still a question. Kathy felt better than she had in years, thanks to the contractors who gave her more than just a new bathroom. They gave her back her life. She was thrilled with her healed body, mind, and spirit, saying, "I feel great, happier than I can remember." Her improving health was unbelievable after years of despair, but there was more to the story. All their pain and suffering resulted from initial negligence. Whoever had installed her heater had nearly caused a tragedy, but she was relieved it didn't come to that. Kathy was well on her way to recovery after years of exposure to poison, but there was still a lingering concern in the story. Kathy wishes she had pushed harder for a diagnosis. For a decade, she was called crazy, delusional, and a hypochondriac because tests were negative. She tried bed rest, exercise, and pills, but nothing helped. No one had answers, but she trusted her instincts. After waiting for 10 years, she's grateful. Her strength slowly returned after fixing a water heater leak that caused carbon monoxide poisoning. Fatigue, nausea, chest pains, and headaches were gone. Although 10 years were lost, things were improving. Kathy vowed to use what she learned to help others with her illness. She asked doctors to watch for these signs in patients and spread awareness. She didn't have time for regrets. She wanted to enjoy happy years with her daughter, but she shared her story so others wouldn't make the same mistake. Kathy is excited about her new energy in life, and she wants her story to make people aware of the dangers of carbon monoxide. She's not the only one affected. Around 8,000 to 15,000 people in the US go to the hospital for carbon monoxide poisoning. Sometimes, the symptoms are mistaken for something else, which can be really bad. More than 400 people die each year from this silent killer, often misdiagnosed as the flu. So, what can we do? Experts say every home should have a carbon monoxide detector near bedrooms about 5 feet above the ground. This way, it can warn you about the danger before it harms you and your loved ones. But how do you know if you have carbon monoxide poisoning? Look out for headaches, dizziness, trouble breathing, feeling sick, weakness, or confusion. If you think you have it, get fresh air and go to the nearest hospital right away. Doctors will test your blood for carbon dioxide to confirm it and start treatment. In the emergency room, they'll give you pure oxygen through a mask over your nose and mouth. This helps your organs and tissues get enough oxygen. Sometimes, you might need hyperbaric oxygen therapy, which involves being in a pressurized chamber to replace carbon monoxide with oxygen in your blood.